Before we get started, we just want to say thank you to Nanlite for sending us the PavoTube II 6C for review. As usual, we're not paid to say anything besides our own opinions, and Nanlite does not get to see this video before it is published. Let's get straight to the point. Tube lights are getting more and more popular, and the PavoTube is definitely one of the higher quality products on the market. From the build quality, the features, and the quality of light, you can definitely see why people love using them on set. The first thing that impressed me the most is actually not the PavoTube itself, but the little iron plates that come in the box. When I first saw them, I know that PavoTube has magnets inside, which is an amazing idea. You won't believe how convenient it is when it comes to using them on set. It is very convenient. Being able to stick the light on any metal surface is much easier than using wires, zip ties, tape, or just placing the light at a spot hoping that it is not going to fall. The magnets on the PavoTube is very strong and it can definitely hold the light up without any problems. The little iron plates actually take the magnetic feature to the next level. When I first saw them, I was like, how come there's no double-sided tape on the plates? How can I stick them onto the surface I want to place the light at? Then I read the manual and my mind was blown. The menu suggests you to use gaff tape to tape the little iron plates onto the surface first. Because the magnet on the PavoTube is so strong, it will still stick onto the iron plates through the tape, and you can remove and retape the iron plates onto other places. That is simply a genius idea. Of course, you'll need tape strong enough to hold the light, but the PavoTube is very light. Not only because we got the shortest version, but it is very light compared to other tube lights in similar size. So I'm not too worried about the tape magnet thing. The second thing that impressed me the most is the build quality. The whole PavoTube is made of plastic, but high quality plastic. You probably have the experience with high and low quality plastic, so you know when you see the high quality ones. It is extremely solid and well built, so I'm not too worried about the durability at all. The buttons on the PavoTube is also very high quality and very clicky. It is very easy to use the buttons to dial in the settings. I'm not sure if the PavoTube is water resistant because they never mentioned it, but the buttons seem sealed, so just don't risk leaving the light in rain. Talking about control, the PavoTube has one of the nicest and easiest to read displays compared to other tube lights. It is nice and bright, and you can pretty much navigate through the settings without reading the menu. All tube lights nowadays have similar interface, which is nice. Before we turn on the light, let's finish talking about the design. When it comes to mounting options, besides the magnets, you have two 1/4-20 mounts at the top and the bottom of the light, and Nanlite does sell accessories for you to combine two or more PavoTubes together. They are basically a double-sided 1/4-20 screw. At the front of the PavoTube, you get a very nicely frosted cover, and as I said in my other videos, this is great because it makes the light coming out much softer and more even, so you don't need to get too many layers of diffusion separately to soften the light. Since we're talking about the softness of the light, yes, it is very soft, but because we only got the 6-inch version of the PavoTube, it will still be too harsh to use as a key light. You probably should bounce the light off of a bigger surface if you want to use it as a key light. If you're getting the longer version, you might be able to just use the light tube as the key light because the surface is much larger. For the 6C, we'll probably use it as a practical light, a hair light, or a creative light when we're doing a creative photo shoot or filming a music video. When it comes to brightness, because we only got the shortest version, it is not that bright. It is around 180 lux when it comes to brightness, so if you need something brighter, get the longer version. When you first turn on the PavoTube, you will be in the most commonly used mode, the CCT mode. You have the ability to adjust the color temperature from 2700 Kelvin to 7500 Kelvin, which is a pretty wide range, and I like it because it will be much easier to match it with other lights on set. Besides the color temperature, you can also adjust the green and magenta tint on the PavoTube. This is extremely helpful if your camera has a tint bias and now you can dial in the color you want when you are filming. Trust me, it is much better than changing the tint in post. The second mode of the PavoTube is the HSI mode, or the RGB mode. There's one little detail I need to mention about the PavoTube. When you change to another mode, the brightness of the light stays at the same level, so you're not going to be blind when the light jumps from 1% to 100% all of a sudden, and that is an amazing feature. In HSI mode, you have the ability to choose any color from the 360-degree color spectrum, and you can also choose the intensity of the color. Very standard, but useful when using the light on set. Talking about small details, there's another one that I really like on the PavoTube. If you press the power button once while the light is on, the light will be off, but the light tube will still be running. So you can dial in the settings you want and just turn off the light before you need to use it. The third mode on the PavoTube is the scene mode, or the special effect mode. There are 15 pre-programmed special effects from party mode, TV mode to fire mode and more. The coolest thing that the PavoTube has, but not every light tube does, is the ability to change the speed and settings of the special effect. You can pretty much customize the effect any way you want, so you will not be stuck with the same special effect pattern. Again, good for using it on set. Those are the basic features of the Nanlite PavoTube. In this part of the video, we will be testing the color accuracy of the PavoTube by setting both the light and the camera to 5600 Kelvin. And we'll be using the X-Rite color checker for video to test the color accuracy. If you don't mind about color accuracy, you can use the timestamps in the description below to jump to the conclusion at the end. Alright, so let's take a look at the color accuracy of the Nanlite PavoTube 6C. This is the X-Rite color checker for video, and I have set the light to 5600 Kelvin. Same thing with my Fujifilm X-T4 at 5600 Kelvin as the color temperature. The first thing I'm going to do is isolate this white piece right here to see if the white balance is correct. So let's take a look. Let me change up the chart to RGB per rate on this side. As you can see here, the red channel and the blue channel is a little bit hot, so that means the entire color is shifted towards a little bit more to the magenta side. You can see it on the vector scope as well. This dot was supposed to be in the middle if it's perfectly white balanced. But this is now shifted to the magenta side. But that's okay because the PavoTube has the ability to change the tint of the light on the light itself. So you can definitely change that to a little bit towards the green side to balance that out. And the second thing I'm gonna do is to draw a mask on these color palettes. And I'm going to quickly boost the saturation of all the colors so you can see if anything is shifted. Yes, everything is shifted towards the magenta side because of the white balance. So you can see that red is a little bit off, magenta is a little bit off, blue it's a little bit off, cyan it's a little bit off. But surprisingly, the green is pretty on spot, on point. Yellow it's really pointing in the right direction, which is good. So you probably just need to do some minor adjustment to change the magenta tint to green tint to balance everything out. So what I'm gonna do right now is to turn off this mask and isolate this palette right here. This is the skin tone palette. I have the skin tone line on my vector scope. I'm just gonna isolate these palette and show you guys if it's accurate when it comes to skin tone. Yes, even the skin tone is off because of the white balance. So this is a little bit off. So what I'm gonna do is quickly do a white balance adjustment manually to see if I can help with the situation. I'm gonna isolate the first strip and nope, let's change the tint first. Lower the red a little bit and increase, nope, I think that's too much. Somewhere around there. Adjust the temperature to a little bit warmer because I added some green tint here. So this is the amount of adjustment if you're not doing anything on the light to adjust the tint. This is after using Final Cut Pro to balance the color. So let's take a look at all the colors again. This palette right here, everything seems better already. Of course, you can use the hue versus hue to adjust the individual channel, but I think this is pretty good already. And skin tone, it's a lot better now. which is good. So just a minor tweak on the white balance and you should be good to go. So again, very impressive when it comes to color accuracy on the Nanlite PavoTube 6C. That's it. Those are my thoughts on the Nanlite PavoTube II 6C. We are very impressed by the build quality and the light quality of the PavoTube, and we think it will be an amazing tool to be used on set, especially for creative projects. You can pretty much carry one with you all the time, and that is amazing. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. What is your favorite light? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.